What's up, everyone? This is Jay with Fantasy Labs, and I'm joined here with Pete, aka CSU Ram 88, and we're here to break down the Friday, January 29th, nine-game slate. And this whole week really has been incredible with the game selection, how we haven't really had a 12-game slate or a 3 or 4 game slate. It's been really solid all around. So we get another one here on a Friday, and this one actually starts 30 minutes later than usual. So that's pretty crucial on this size of a slate. So, Pete, I don't know about you, but that's enough time for me to run to Chick-fil-A and back. What are you doing with those extra 30 minutes?
Dude, yeah, Chick-fil-A. That's 30 minutes. I would 100% go to the driving range, but fortunately there's still some snow on the ground. I might go to Topgolf, though.
Yeah, you could hit up Topgolf. I don't know. It's been pretty sunny here. I think you could probably pull it off at the range.
You could probably pull it off at the range.
That bad.
Yeah, I'll see if they're open, Gotta check it out. Right before we get dumped on for some snow.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I'm just happy we're here to do this pod after our near-death experience on the slopes the other day.
I know, and we're talking about going up again. True story, I had to take off my skis from our friend Sean led us astray down this cliff run, and we ended up with a legitimate cliff.
Yeah, that was like I don't know. I don't know what's scarier, trying to get down a cliff with no one around you, no one even on the mountain, or rostering Anthony Davis.
I'd say rostering Anthony
Davis. I would too.
I played him again. I play him every time, and I just get crushed.
Yeah, it's time to put it. I think we collectively need to come together and.
Nah, dude, he'll have a great matchup, and we'll go for him again.
Well, he'll be like doubtful one game, and it'll be a late game. Then he'll end up playing
and go for 70.
Yeah, that's how he works. It's brutal. But anyways, all right, let's hop into this 9-game slate. Get it going.
Let's do it. All right, so Cleveland at Detroit. Only a 4.5-point spread, but Lou just got his first win here. Andre Drummond coming off a big game after some disappointing starts. What are the news and notes here, Jay?
Yeah, no injuries on either side that are notable at all. Same story with the Pistons, obviously, same kind of starting five here.
Total's 206.5 too.
Total's 206, yeah, which is pretty high. The Cavs, and yeah, neither team on a back-to-back or anything, so pretty solid game. But yeah, it's kind of tough pinpointing plays from this one. On the Cavs side, obviously LeBron's been playing well, but Detroit's second in the NBA in defensive efficiency against small forwards, so. I'm not like too in love with LeBron, although I do like targeting him more on the road in some of these close spreads. So I like him quite a bit as a tournament play, especially as a pivot to Durant, which will likely be a pretty high-owned cash play.
Love KD. LeBron, like you said, it's kind of a tough matchup. Only 42 fantasy points last time versus Detroit. I think Kyrie would be the guy I'd look to in tournaments in this one, even though he hasn't been great. He hasn't been awful either. And the one thing about him is his ownership's been down. But I think he could have a decent game for his price. Only on DraftKings, only 6,400. And if he gets you a 35-game, 40-game, you're looking all right there. Obviously the minutes there's Phoenix and the blowout were bad, but it seems like he's kind of in the low 30s right now. And I don't know. I think he's the tournament player. I don't love anyone on Cleveland's side for cash.
Yeah, no one in cash I'm not on. I'm not too high on Tristan, even with the start. It's just a tough draw for him against the size of Drummond, and there's the potential foul trouble there, obviously, now that it looks like Drummond is back to being fed properly. So I kind of worry about the minutes there for Tristan.
Right. What about going over to Detroit's side? And again, Kyrie's not like an elite tournament play at all.
I like Love, too, in some tournament exposure as well. I like his matchup quite a bit.
Okay. What about Detroit? Are you buying some Drummond after the most recent dominant performance? I know you hate him. This is the funny thing Jay does. Guy Skypes me. Oh, Andre Drummond's doing it again. He's going to screw me. Goes completely ham.
Hey, he had like 4 near the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
And it just flashed back to the Nuggets game when I was all over Drummond.
That was bad.
And I faded Boogie for him. So it was like multitude of disappointment.
His last 4 games are 56 fantasy points, 17 fantasy points, 17.5 fantasy points, 54 fantasy points.
Yeah, so that's tilting. And Drummond, when these teams met earlier in the year, Drummond had a monster game. But, I don't put too much stock in that unless there's a legitimate reason as why he should have a monster game every game against them. And I like Cleveland's interior defense. So I think he makes for a tournament play. I would definitely not go him in cash in this matchup that I think is difficult still. So, but he makes for a tournament play, and then I think you got to have some Reggie Jackson exposure. This should be actually a pretty close game. Detroit's much better at home, so I don't mind some Reggie in this one, and not really too high on anyone else here.
Yeah, no Marcus Morris for me with the matchup with LeBron.
Yeah, and Ilyasova we've seen just start off hot and then disappear. Stanley Johnson's getting decent minutes, so they're just kind of using a lot of minutes, spreading them around a little bit too much to where it's hard to find value elsewhere out of obviously the big two in Reggie and Drummond.
Right. And Drummond's still a good play for tournaments, although his ownership will be higher after the last big game. But
probably, I guess so.
He's a good tournament play.
He'll still be pretty underowned, though, I think.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move to Orlando at Boston, which could have a decent amount of fantasy goodness. The spread here is Boston by 8. They're -8. Over/under is 204. Any news and notes here, Jay?
No injuries again. This is unfortunate. We're always looking to capitalize on injuries, and I think overall this whole slate, kind of after looking at it, there aren't too many replacement plays, you could say. So, nothing notable here. Expected to be the same starting lineups as usual for both team. Definitely a pretty solid total, not as high of an implied total for Magic. Boston has a good defense overall. So cash-wise, I think Vooch is the guy I'm kind of looking at here if I'm going to have some exposure in this game. I don't mind the matchup for him, and he's getting it done lately, playing big minutes again, and is always a solid double-double threat.
Yeah, I was going to mention Vooch too. I think he's a really nice play. Tobias Harris, I don't hate either. I've seen a lot of people playing Oladipo lately, which is what it is. His price is not great. He's had some nice games, but I think the matchup here is a little bit tougher.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think Harris.
Matchup's tough for Harris against Crowder too, so it's hard to kind of go these guys. I think Depot might be my favorite tournament play. He had a really good game against them last time, but it was off the bench where he didn't really probably have to face Avery Bradley as much.
Yeah.
So
Tobias had a good game too. That was
right. Yeah. So you look at the matchup specifically, and then being on the road here against a much faster paced team. Not to say that the Magic aren't capable of keeping up. I think they are athletically, but they just generally play at a slower pace. So I think it's too tough to rely on anyone in cash in this one.
Okay. Yeah, DraftKings has Tobias Harris with the green number next to him. I wonder how much people actually pay attention to the opponent rank that DraftKings has, but
probably quite a bit, I think. And I think, obviously it doesn't tell the whole truth because sometimes players play lockdown defense on certain players that require it, and especially at small forward, we have a lot of players who just kind of idle by and don't do much. You have a lot of defensive stoppers or guys who don't have high usage rates. So guys like Jay Crowder, other players who are good defensively at small forward, just focus on another player on the team perhaps who's more offensively significant.
Right. It's interesting. I don't find myself targeting this game too much in general. On the Boston side, is Isaiah Thomas is totally fine.
Yeah, he's fine. It's tough. They're all healthy, so it's kind of a little difficult to find a guy in cash that I really like. The Celtics offense has been clicking though. They've just been crushing. They're averaging, I think, 112 points per game over their last 10 games. So this offense is really, really getting it done, and I don't think that's going to stop at home against this defense. So they're definitely going to put up points. So I think there is absolutely value here. Isaiah, maybe Avery Bradley in cash. He's been playing well and playing big minutes, but they're really just kind of spreading their minutes around overall.
Right. Boston as a franchise, though, looking pretty solid right now. Stevens coaching great.
Oh, yeah.
They got every pick you could ever imagine.
Yeah, the GOAT of coaching.
Yeah. Even over your boy Popovich?
Long term, for sure. Pop's probably done soon when Duncan's done.
Right. Okay. What any other plays here? I mean, Boston side, I agree with you. Avery Bradley. Any of these guys, they're all mediocre.
It's just a lot of depth, and I mean, Amir's been playing well, but you can't really trust him in limited minutes. Obviously, Solinger, the same thing, playing very limited minutes. I like some Marcus Smart tournament exposure in this one. And I definitely kind of like, obviously Isaiah Thomas, you can have some tournament exposure to, given that they're averaging 112 points a game lately, and he's their leading scorer. And then I like some Evan Turner tournament exposure in case this 8-point spread gets up there a little bit more and we see Turner get a little bit more burn than usual.
Right. Okay. Well, that covers it for me too. I'm not on this game in general. So the next game, though, I could be on a lot of guys. We have Phoenix at New York. Currently no line. Melo sat out. We're recording this late on Thursday night. Porzingis sat out Thursday. So
yeah, quite a bit of injuries in this one. So on the Sun side, we got Brandon Knight's still out with that groin injury. John Lure with his back is probable, so we can expect him back for this one. TJ Warren is questionable with the right ankle sprain. Teletovic was active last game but didn't play. He was dealing with an ankle injury, so we'll have to kind of wait and see if he's available again. I would assume he's fine and will play in this one. And then on the Knicks side, as we saw tonight, Thursday, with
I think Teletovic played versus Philly, right? What was the last game? No, they had a DM after that.
Yeah, I'm trying to look.
So remember, the only reason I mentioned is I saw a Vine of Warren not playing any defense, forgetting his man versus Sixers, and I saw Teletovic on the court.
Yeah, it was him then. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, he was barely playing those. 16 minutes.
16 minutes, didn't play. Same thing for Teletovic.
All right, done. I'm not trying to just solve.
No, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Solve that. Okay, so on the Knicks side, we got Melo, who sat tonight. He's hopeful to play, but still kind of listed as questionable. Probably leaning more on the side of playing with that knee injury. And then Jose Calderon, who missed tonight with a groin injury, is questionable. And then Porzingis is questionable with his illness. So obviously there's a lot riding on these three statuses that kind of define the slate, honestly. So this is a big one to know. Luckily, it's the earliest starting time, so we'll know all of this before lineups lock. So, so let's start with Phoenix with these guys, with these statuses that let's assume, John Lure's back, and TJ Warren, let's assume plays. He's questionable with the ankle sprain, so they're still thin in the backcourt. Are you going to you keep continuing rolling Archie and Booker possibly?
Yeah, good one's still so cheap, especially on FanDuel. More expensive on DraftKings, but still at a good price. I think I have to play him in most spots. It's fine value on this slate. So I think I'll have a good amount of exposure to him. And then in addition, I think Booker, especially on FanDuel, I think he's 4,900 or draft, one of the two.
Yeah, they're a lot more on DraftKings, so it's not as simple as just kind of plug and play to get that value, especially Booker at 5,500 with his matchup. A little bit tough with a Flalo there. So, but on FanDuel, on this slate, it's quite hard to find value, especially if things shake out as a lot of these questionable guys play, so we don't get that backup value. That I think, Archie's price at $5K, you're looking at pretty hard there, and Booker at 4,900 at shooting guard is also, it's something I think you kind of have to go to afford like some of these guys, Harden or Durant, in some high total games that we definitely want to target here.
Right. So
no one else really on Phoenix. PJ Tucker's been playing really well, but this is just the Knicks just play at a slow pace. The Suns have been brutal offensively lately, so it's kind of hard to go these guys in cash outside of Archie and Booker.
Right. For the Knicks, though, everyone's in play, especially if certain guys sit. Langston Galloway was a good play. Derek Williams didn't have a great day, but was in play as well. Lance Thomas. Porzingis out. Who knows if Porzingis or Melo sits, Calderon sits. How are you handling it?
Right. Yeah. It's just going to be a wait-and-see approach. I recommend just kind of having a strategy based on either way that every injury can go. So, for example, if Melo's in and everyone else is out, what are you going to do? if Calderon's in, everyone else, et cetera. So I think the plays we're hoping for and looking for are preferably if Calderon is out, I like Galloway again. I'd run that back. Cheap price. Suns backcourt defense is the worst in the NBA. I think they're 30th against defensive efficiency against shooting guards and 29th against point guards. So Galloway, and then if Melo's out and Porzingis again too, I like a Flalo again as well, kind of a cheap, viable punt option there. I think he's still 5K. Yeah, 5K. So, and Galloway's only 4,100. So those guys definitely intrigue me attacking the Suns backcourt there, especially if they're thin in that regard. So
Right.
what about, so if Porzingis plays and Melo's out, how are you treating Porzingis? It's still kind of more of
I like Porzingis as a tournament play for sure.
Yeah.
It just depends on how things break throughout the rest of the day. But I think Porzingis will definitely be in play. Could argue both formats.
Right, I agree. So yeah, I mean,
Derek Williams too. And if Melo's out, I like him regardless off the bench, whatever. I mean, he's gonna get a decent amount of minutes. He's not an excellent cash game play, but he's a great tournament play no matter what.
Right. Yeah, he's always been known as a pretty inconsistent player, but he saw 28 minutes tonight. He shot 3 for 12, which I would not expect him to do against this Suns team. So kind of makes me like him more as a tournament play if things shake out, if Porzingis is out, where I think people might be off him a little bit. It's still fresh in their memory of his kind of dud tonight. Well, it wasn't like a horrible dud. It wasn't a Willie Cauley-Stein dud, but
Otto Porter dud.
Ooh, yeah. There was
a lot of duds. Paul George dud.
Oh, man.
Paul George. I was on Paul George.
Quite a few duds, definitely. So, yeah, I think D. Will's in a fine spot if Porzingis is out here. So, just kind of we'll have that information, luckily. So, it's nothing to really worry about too much early in the morning or anything. But kind of by midday, I would definitely have a good idea of who I want to go from this Knicks team based on these injuries.
Right. All right, well, let's move to the game with all the studs.
Yeah.
Probably the most attractive game in terms of star power, and that's Houston at OKC. Over under 221.
Yeah.
7.5.
That's insane total. Yeah.
Pretty juicy game. So, What are we doing here, Jay? You were the Trevor Ariza whisperer the other night.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Two games ago, though. Yeah, nice.
2 games ago, yeah.
Yeah. So injuries, none on Houston side, and then on Oklahoma City we have obviously Robertson still out with that knee injury, and then Payne is out with a concussion, so pretty minor. We'll see the same starting lineup. We'll see Waiters in there. Unfortunately, he's always tempting when you see 35 minutes, but then he puts up 15 points, like it's his ceiling at this point. So let's start on the Rockets side. So 7.5 point dogs, but this total is absurd, and I'm not really sold on the Thunder's defense overall, especially with Robertson out as their kind of wing defender. So
Harden.
I think,
Harden, narrative, revenge, whatever you want to say. If he still has anything towards OKC, I mean, it's so many games now, and it's a regular season game, but
right.
Harden's in play every night.
No, he went off last time they played. They won 110 to 105. So I love him, and now you have Robertson out of the equation. So Harden will have no problem at all getting his in this game. Definitely cash play, both sides. I would probably put him near the top, if not the top, and definitely try to afford him and fit him in there. And, maybe pair him with, we just talked about like 3 cheap shooting guards that I think you, on FanDuel specifically, that you can pair with him to kind of save your salary. After that, though, yeah, I mean, cash-wise, obviously his total is huge, but it's kind of difficult to go anyone else. I'm not as high on Ariza in this game because I think he'll focus a lot of his effort on playing defense against Durant. So, but they're going to score a lot of points. So I still like Ariza overall, but I don't think he'll explode like we saw him do 2 games ago.
What about Dwight?
I love Dwight as a tournament play. I don't know if I'm really risking him in cash. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Dwight?
Yeah, tournament. That's exactly how I feel. Tournament play.
And I think it's pretty important to have tournament exposure for sure to this game. Just with how many points you're going to go right.
Just stack it.
I mean, Josh Smith could have a pretty solid game off the bench even in 26 minutes or whatever. He can have a pretty nice game. So
smooth.
Smooth. The
Do you remember that was my boy back in the day?
Yeah,
When we long leagues.
I remember you always had
free throw. I tanked free throw, so I had LeBron, Dwight, Smooth.
Yeah, we were like 15.
Yeah,
just tanking free throws. They're still horrible. I don't care if anyone shoots bad at free throws.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
let's go to the Thunder though. Let's go. I mean, we're on the same guys for Houston, unless you have anyone.
Yeah. Just kind of spread that tournament exposure out. But Harden's really the main guy that I think you kind of need from that team.
Yep. OKC obviously have the two main studs, Westbrook and Durant. Now on this slate, how much exposure do you think you could have to the two of them? Are you gonna? Which one of them is a cash game play potentially? How are you thinking about your lineups?
So I think on DK, I'd probably prefer Durant. He's cheaper there. On FanDuel, Westbrook probably. Mm-hmm. But obviously I love both quite a bit. I probably like Westbrook more. They're both just on fire right now. So I think you definitely want to go one of them. I think it's – for me, I'm going to try as hard as I can to get either Durant or Westbrook and then Harden in my cash lineups on both sides. So,
just got to find the value, guys. That's the tricky part tomorrow.
Right. So, and then after that, I love Ibaka as a tournament play in this one. I like him a lot, actually, and I hope he's kind of under-owned because I think you can get great value, great upside from him. He had a huge game last time against –
How many blocks did he have last time versus him, do you know?
I think 4.
Oh, yeah.
4 or 5, but he had a big game. And obviously we know how good this matchup is against the Rockets. We've seen it. Game after game, we've recommended going guys. We saw Aldridge the other night. I mean, it's just same as always. So
good memory, Jay. 4 blocks last time, 43 fantasy points.
Yeah, so he's definitely a good play here. And I think the way Cantor's playing right now and how many points they're gonna have in this game, he's gonna get his, I think, in this one. So I don't mind him as in some tournament exposure as well.
Okay, I could get down with that. What about Adams? I had that one good first game and start. I mean, it's kind of tough with both of them, but
yeah, I don't know. I question his upside in this one, just kind of matching up against Dwight here.
Sure.
Maybe a little. I mean, I think you can have exposure just because this game, like this total is as high as we've seen in a really long time. So I think most starters in this game are options in tournaments for sure.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's the game to target. We're not going to spend time on Dion Waiters, but he's another interesting guy, I guess.
Right. He is pretty interesting, yeah.
Yeah. The whole game is intriguing for sure. But definitely the studs here is what you want the most exposure to, and then fill out the rest of your lineup from there. Moving to Miami and Milwaukee, I don't think there's a total on this one right now. Obviously, a lot of injuries in Miami still. News and notes here, and what are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, injuries in Miami, every single game now. And honestly, it's worthless to even bring them up right now because Spoelstra will probably change his mind 17 times during the day tomorrow. Ruling Whiteside out and saying he's probable, ruling him out again. I mean, it's been brutal with the Heat. But as of now, we have Dragic with his calf injury said he'll play, so we can fully expect him to be back for this one. So no more Udry. Fortunately.
Tyler Johnson train.
And no more Tyler Johnson, yeah. So you can avoid that now. Whiteside with his oblique is questionable in this one. And then, the other two are worthless. Josh McRoberts is apparently questionable, but I don't believe he'll set foot on the court the rest of his career at this point. He's always questionable, always ruled out. Although I did this last time about Derek Favors, and I said I'd be shocked if he came back before the All-Star break. I thought the Jazz were hiding something. And obviously that next day he came back out.
He came back.
So maybe McRoberts will play tomorrow.
Fight you, bro.
Yeah, he probably listened to the pod and was like, that's it.
He's pissed.
He's getting like $11 million, something outrageous for Josh McRoberts and him not playing. And then Birdman, Chris Anderson is out. So, and then on the Bucks side, OJ Mayo is doubtful with a hamstring injury. And John Henson is questionable with a back injury.
Man, this game is very unenticing to me.
It is, yeah. So the Bucks are on a back-to-back. The Heat defense obviously is solid. They played a very slow pace here.
Bosch is the guy I like, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree. I love the matchup for Bosch for one, and if Whiteside's rolled out, I do like him more. I'm not sure about Cash because I think it will be pretty difficult to afford him given kind of the other options we just highlighted. So
that makes him a nice leverage play in tournaments, though.
Absolutely.
A lot of people are going to go a different way to spend up.
Exactly.
That's have a unique roster, I think.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, I love Bosch in tournaments, and then I think if Whiteside plays, I like him in tournaments even too, just with this matchup.
Whiteside.
And then Wade. I mean, Wade's been on fire.
Oh, I had him in this year versus Brooklyn, and I even I'm gonna throw Justin under the bus here. I was like, Justin, what do you think about Wade? He's like, not a guy I'd consider in Cash the back-to-back.
I wouldn't either. I'm on that side as well.
It's such a good matchup for Brooklyn. That's why I was like,
matchup.
Shoulders. He had the shoulder stuff. And I faded him, of course. My original lineup had him.
But he wasn't high owned.
I know, but I would have waxed.
Yeah, he's like 8% owned. So, yeah, that definitely would have been great.
I ended up paying up for freaking DeRozan who put up like 18 fantasy points.
Yeah. I mean, Wade's killing it right now. He's been great. I definitely prefer him a bit more with Udry in there as opposed to Dragic. I mean, I still think Wade's a fine tournament play though, especially the Bucks on back-to-back a little bit. So I don't mind Wade.
Middleton scares me a little bit.
And Wade's not cheap by any means, really. He's kind of crept up, so I don't think you're really looking at him in Cash, especially with you kind of want to go Harden, and you're not going to fit Harden and Wade on FanDuel. And then
the one game versus Milwaukee this year, and I tell you for what it is. I mean, I don't know what happened, I don't remember, but Wade played 21 minutes and got 8 fantasy points.
Yeah, pretty bad. So, but yeah, you're not going to go him and Harden on FanDuel, and then you're not going to go 2 shooting guards on DraftKings most likely. So I mean, Wade's not really a cash option, but a fine tournament option, I think.
Yeah, he's still cheap on DraftKings, $6,700.
Yeah, but Bosch is the guy we both recommend for tournaments out of this team.
Right. Anyone on Milwaukee side that you like?
Pretty brutal, really. I don't like the matchup too much. Back-to-back. I like a lot of these guys, though, just overall. So I like them as tournament plays. Obviously,
I'm going to disagree. I don't like anyone.
None of them. Not on the back-to-back. Slow pace.
Not going to do it against Miami. I'm just done. Just rule them out.
If Whiteside's out, no Monroe.
If Whiteside's out, I could do Monroe.
Maybe a little Monroe. Middleton's been on fire lately.
Middleton has been on fire, but this is not a great spot for him.
It's not a great spot. Michael Carter-Williams has been playing big minutes. These guys are playing big.
I hope they all stink, and then they have a good, juicy matchup coming up here soon. That's what I'm hoping for.
Oh, that's ideal. Yeah, that'd be great.
That's the move.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think Monroe, maybe some tournament exposure. He's been looking pretty solid, and if Whiteside's out, obviously. Giannis has been playing pretty well as well. Jabari's minutes are up, but it's kind of worrisome on the back-to-back for him at least, with kind of his injury history and how they're treating him on back-to-back. So I'm with you. I'm kind of not on the Bucks at all.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move to Brooklyn at Dallas here. Decent game. I mean, the spread's not great, but you have some interesting options here with Dallas. They're 9.5-point favorites, 199 over/under. News and notes, Jay.
Nothing on the Nets side. It's notable. On the Mavs side, Devin Harris is questionable with a toe injury. Zaza is questionable with his Achilles. So hopefully we are done with the Madrid era for DFS purposes.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready.
Salah Madrid, yeah. Nobody wants to go him anymore. Like, he had his shining moment. Let's just get Zaza back so we can kind of not worry about that anymore. Tempting. Right. It's just tempting. And then Dirk sat last game for rest. We can fully expect him back for this one. A well-rested Dirk.
Dude, Dirk is dominating.
Yeah, with a cushy, juicy matchup here.
I know, dude. I like Dirk. Tournament play, maybe cash game.
Let's start with the Nets. I don't think this is a low implied total for Brooklyn. So,
do you ever play anyone on the Nets often? I mean, I don't know.
Earlier in the season,
Thad Young was playing a bunch.
Oh yeah, but remember how cheap they all were? Like Brooke was
Small.
cheap. Jack was dirt cheap a lot. Like Jack had
Yeah,
some
I do remember
huge
playing
games
Jack. Brooke
all
was
the time. The beginning, the first 3 weeks of the season was like,
Thad Young,
yeah, and Brooke,
Donald
yeah.
Stone.
So those three guys were huge, but it's obviously Jack's half dead now, so he's not an option, and Thad's kind of fallen off a bit. Brooke's still there though, so I think in this one, I don't mind some Brooke exposure in tournaments. He's my favorite tournament play, but definitely not anyone in cash in this match.
No, I'm not on anyone here. I think it's, there's some more, like Broke is fine tournaments. Thad Young, I can get behind. I guess.
Like maybe Joe Johnson.
Oh no, dude.
What's the upside? Yeah.
No, Joe Johnson.
No Bargnani.
Did you say Bargnani?
Yeah, no Bargnani. I always try to say
Bargnani.
because he's always questionable with like some fake illness or something.
Oh my gosh, what a joke!
Yeah,
I'm off it. Let's talk about Dirk, dude. Dirk Matthews, man.
Yeah,
Parsons has been raging.
I know. Yeah, the unfortunate thing is that they could be pretty healthy if Devin Harris and Zaza are in this one. So Parsons, we've seen some massive games, but it's kind of always when someone's out. But I still like him a lot in this game. Great matchup, obviously. I mean, the Nets defense is horrible. So yeah, I'm with you. I love Parsons. I like Dirk, probably the most well-rested, easy matchup. I even don't mind some Darren in some tournament exposure. Honestly,
man, some revenge here against
yeah, man. So I think Darren. I kind of like this spot for Dallas. I think they can put up a lot of points in this one.
Okay. The Darren is an interesting call. I'm definitely highest on Dirk.
But for sure. Yeah, Dirk's the main guy I think you want exposure to on this side.
All right, let's go to Minnesota and Utah. Low total, 194. It's in Utah, 7-point spread. Levine has been going ham, dude.
Yeah, I love Levine. Spot-up shooter. They're finally learning how to utilize him properly. So this is what he's doing. He's good. So
what are the do's and notes here?
So on the Minnesota side, Kevin Martin's doubtful with the wrist injury. Kevin Garnett is doubtful with the knee injury. So we're looking at another game without the Kevins. And then on the Jazz side, no notable injuries. I'm expecting Favors to kind of still ease back into his role of heavy minutes. We've seen him right around 20 in this first two. So I think you can kind of write him off in both formats unless you kind of want to take a chance that he sees big minutes for whatever reason. I'm not expecting it, but obviously it will have a low ownership. So, and then you can't really go him obviously in cash, especially if he's not starting. So he's kind of in that position where you're just kind of waiting for him to go back to full minutes. But yeah, really low implied total for the Wolves. Not appealing. Even though I love targeting these players in general, just with a lot of upside kind of all around at decent prices too for all these guys. So it's unfortunate they're playing the Jazz. Obviously tough road game, especially playing in Utah, and we got Gobert at the rim. So we've seen Karl-Anthony Towns he's been beasting lately, and he's been doing it against difficult matchups. So are you on him at all against Gobert?
No, not at all. Just shutting it down. I just try to keep it simple relatively, and I think this is something that, obviously in tournaments you think about things differently, but in cash games, playing Utah, Miami, it's just like I'm done. It's just
there's no point. There's no upside.
You might hit it once in a while, but it's just a bad strategy to take
it's a bad play. No one in cash. Who would you go?
Hayward though for Utah. Oh, for tournaments, real quick on Minnesota, I guess it'd be Towns. Still love it versus Gobert. I mean, Wiggins is going to struggle if he could,
Jang maybe, assuming he gets that start again over Peck.
That's a good call.
Upside. Levine too.
Levine will be. I would say Levine over Towns, but I feel like a lot of people are going to be on Levine relative to where they should be, just because he's had some
probably his price point, and this is a 7.5 point spread. This could get out of hand. We saw the Jazz just smash last game. So they're playing. They got their team fully back. So this is
I wish Dante Exum was there. I'm a Dante Exum truther. I love Dante Exum.
He's got some good defense for sure. Yeah,
but obviously the knee bummer.
Yeah, they're a nasty defensive team with him and Gobert in there, and especially Favors too. I love Favors.
Zach Lowe has talked a lot about them, who I respect a ton. Another great podcast to listen to if you're into the NBA. the low post, something I really like. But Zach Lowe's talked recently in one of his articles was on Utah and how talented they are. And I'm definitely a believer, and I think that they're an up-and-coming team for sure.
And Hayward's getting better and better. Like every year he gets better. It's incredible. He's actually like a really good player, which I didn't really think he was going to be out of Butler.
Yeah, he is really good. So, and he's a decent player in this game too. I like him, and I like Gobert.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Where are you on?
Yeah, so Jazz side, I mean, I think Hayward's a cash option, but I don't see how you're going to get him. He's 8,300 on FanDuel.
75 on DraftKings.
So, I mean, give me Durant, and I'll pay for Durant and kind of punt elsewhere, find value, then kind of go Hayward. But I think he's a fine tournament option. We see him play huge minutes. Kind of even. He's always like the last guy to leave the court in blowouts too, which is crazy. He was in pretty late last game. I don't know if you're watching that, but he was in there like
got some serious
really late. Yeah. So that's always good. We always want that out of our players.
Right.
But yeah, I'm with you. I love Gobert as a tournament option. He's been racking up these double-doubles, averaging a double-double lately. Big upside, I think, from him. And, I mean, what do you do with Rodney Hood? He's just so frustrating.
You get 2 fouls in the first 4 minutes of the quarter, and then he's going to pick up a third foul right as he comes in the second quarter.
And then he's going
to go off in the second half.
Yeah, it's possible.
But for a slightly below-average game. That's what he's just going to
Probably, yeah, in this game. So I think it's tough. I don't really put him too high on my cash game radar on this one.
Yeah, I think it's
especially just the shooting guard layout, kind of with who we've talked about. Obviously, I'd rather like save and go Galloway if Calderon and those guys are out, and obviously Harden. So
Trey Burke had a really good game against these guys last time. He's a total shot in the dark tournament play.
Yeah, I agree. I usually like having exposure to Burke actually because he has a high usage rate off the bench. He puts up a lot of shots. So it's obviously the minutes are the main thing. So
you get 230. You never know if there's not enough value. I mean, he could do that for sure in this matchup. He's in that tournament play.
Yeah, he could. Definitely.
All right, let's go Charlotte and Portland. This is a 199, 200-ish total. Right now, Portland's favored by 5.5. Dude, my boy Damian Lillard. I'm feeling some Damian Lillard.
All right, so I was talking to Justin. We'll start with the Blazers real quick. But All-Star snub. What's the narrative street with Lillard? First game after being snubbed hard.
Yeah, dude. I'm in on Lillard.
Yeah.
Just listen to him rap before you play him, and you'll feel good about it.
Oh, you'll be so jacked.
Fading Westbrook, though, is pretty scary.
Yeah, but if you go KD, I mean.
Right, that's kind of what you have to do.
But, yeah, this is 205 total. Lillard 1 day after.
You're seeing 205? Oh, that's right. Sorry, I wrote something right. 205 total. My bad.
Oh, it's all good. So, Lillard, me and Justin actually looked it up because we remember Lillard being an all-star snub last year. He was voted in due to an injury afterwards, but he shot, I think, 6 for 20 the game after he was officially snubbed. But he put up a good line. He got 11 assists. He took a lot of shots. Clearly, he was frustrated with the league and wanted to prove himself. So I don't think we can expect anything less in this one.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of Lillard, too. Don't have to convince me more than once on Lillard. What about McCollum or any of the frontline guys? You feeling anyone for Portland there?
Not too much in cash. I do. I think this is a big – I mean, yes, we're still in Portland. I was thinking of Charlotte. Who we're talking Charlotte? I'm so confused now.
Dude, talk. If I messed that up, that's my bad.
No, hold on. All right, let's do it.
I said McCollum, and then is there any front court guys that you like?
Oh, no, I hate that front court. Front court's a joke.
Let's go Charlotte. You're eager to talk Charlotte.
Injury-wise, the most exciting injury news of the slate, arguably the season, if Brian were here, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, questionable, back from right shoulder injury ahead of his timetable. Pretty exciting stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's going to make them less enticing to play because
I know, right? Yeah, it's like cool. It's like, oh, that's cool for basketball, but what does that do for us?
Defensive player who's terrible on offense. It's bad for
I don't want another Justice Winslow laying around in the weeds.
He's worse. Better defensively, potentially.
Yeah, Winslow shot a 3 in his life before. He's hit a few. So Yeah. And then Jeremy Lin is ruled out with a sprained ankle. And Jeremy Lamb is questionable for like the 20th game in a row, I think I'd say, with the sprained right toe. Just amputate your toe. Like, quit. It'd be less of a hassle than spraining it all the time.
Oh, man.
You don't need it.
Foot injuries are brutal, though, bro. Brutal.
Is it his big toe?
I mean,
I think it's his big toe.
I heard of football. I can't remember where I heard it from. Like they're making this guy's making fun of a foot. It was like Vince Wilfork or someone. I can't remember. They're making fun of someone for the foot injury, and then they got one for the whole year, and this is the worst injury of his entire career.
Oh man, I mean, they're big problems, and they linger, and nobody rests them fully. They just play on them. Makes it worse. It's horrible. I stopped getting foot injuries when I decided to spend 90% of my life on the couch. That's how you don't hurt your feet.
Yeah. So I just sit here in front of my computer all day.
What are you gonna do? Yeah.
Nothing you can do. I think Kemba goes off here, though, Jay. What do you think about Kemba?
Oh yeah, let's not overlook this defensive matchup he's against Lillard. This is something. What does DK have? Let's see, Kemba.
They have Portland as the sixth.
Yeah, sixth.
That's no way. That's right.
So I mean, we're looking at a guy Kemba who's already very aggressive. Lillard won't stop it. But given Kemba's nature of kind of being unpredictable, we have Batum back, let's remember. So
that's true.
They're not like as dire in need of scoring.
Batum revenge too, bro.
Oh, yeah. I like Batum a lot as a tournament play. He played 30 minutes last game. And
there's Portland already this year, 50 fantasy points.
Yeah, so and that game was a blowout. And Batum's the guy, I mean, he just came back from injury, but he's never – like, you can always count on big minutes from Batum. He's just that type of player. He'll play all game. Yeah, I love him. He's one of my favorite tournament plays on this slate. And then Kemba, I mean, we've seen his upside a lot, even when the team's in full health, that he's had huge games before. So it's kind of like if you're making multiple teams, you always want to have one with Kemba. He has massive
upside. Especially since everyone's going to go Lillard or Westbrook. I mean, no one's going to be on him.
Exactly, yeah. I think it's a great pivot. And you look at matchup here a lot, and, yeah, I think he's a great play. And obviously Batum for tournaments. Anyone else kind of on this team?
I was going to talk about Batum and the revenge, and Kemba are the guys, and then Lillard. That's really.
So, what about Haas? Obviously, this is a much better matchup than his last one, which
that's true. What's it? FanDuel and DraftKings hasn't his price come up? Let me find.
Yeah, he's still 4K.
He's 4K. Yeah, FanDuel. That's what. What's his price on DraftKings?
His price on DK is 4,800.
Yeah, so that's not awful, but yeah, 4K on FanDuel, he's definitely in play.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a fine matchup, and we got a lot of guys that are really expensive, and some of these top centers. I mean, Drummond is a difficult matchup. Karl Anthony Towns, very difficult matchup. Dwight is a little bit difficult matchup.
Punting makes sense with Haas, especially on FanDuel at 4K.
It does. I mean, we got DeAndre coming up against the Lakers. They're on a back-to-back. Could be a massive blowout. So a little bit of risk there. Obviously, he's still really safe. So, but, yeah, it's kind of looking like going back to the Haas train a little bit here.
All right, I'm on that.
Saving some money, get that 21 points from him at 4K is fine with me. And then you can load up. You can get Westbrook and Harden and a couple other beasts.
Yep. And you already, you kind of segued us in this next game, Lakers at Clippers. We have another point guard as well, Chris Paul, that you have to consider for tournaments too. I mean, point guard.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely disappointing last game. We kind of talked about it, Justin and I. We hyped him a bit because the close spread, and that was kind of, in my opinion, the kind of like his worst case scenario. And he still got, I think, 34, 35. It's just a very safe 34, 35. Obviously, he didn't hit value, and Westbrook crushed him, but for only, I think, what was 400 more he was, I think?
Yeah.
Westbrook. So, yeah, definitely, a little bit of risk there going him, but I think
he's tournament only. You have to go Westbrook over him for him and cash.
For this game, yeah. Oh, for this slate, yeah, absolutely. The roles have reversed. I think, yeah, Chris Paul becomes the primary tournament play out of the two, and Westbrook definitely a much, much better cash game play. Right. But yeah, so yeah, no total or line for this. I I'm not really sure why, honestly. I
The
think,
Lakers played so late, maybe.
yeah, and Kobe might
Maybe.
sit. So this is a
Kobe, Lou
back-to-back.
Williams, back.
Right, so Lou Williams is questionable. He missed tonight, Thursday, with illness. Didn't even do that much for that team, honestly. Clarkson had average game, I think, kind of. And then, yeah, Kobe could rest on his back-to-back. If he doesn't rest, I expect him to be somewhat limited. Let's remember this road game is not really a road game because it's obviously at Staples Center, so I don't think he has the desire to, like, toughen one out for the road crowd that's coming to see him, obviously. So it's a little bit different there. I could definitely see him resting. He looked awful tonight. It wasn't even fair getting guarded by Butler. It's just
no chance.
It was so painful to watch. It's like almost sad. It makes me sad. Like the first almost half the season, we just make fun of Kobe for how bad he is. But now I'm at the point, it's like it's actually sad. Like watching him is horrible.
He's just done. Father Time always wins.
It's brutal. It's like Tiger.
Undefeated.
It's like Tiger in golf lately. Just
tough.
Or even Federer. Whew.
Oh, Federer, dude.
Talk about.
Don't put Federer in.
I know. I'm not.
Tiger and Kobe.
Federer makes it to the finals every single major.
Federer's still an elite player.
But man, he got smoked by Joe.
Best player in the world, man.
Oh, he's incredible. So anyone on any exposure to Lakers, like Julius Randle, maybe?
Randle's fine.
A little bit of tournament exposure to him.
That's probably it for tournaments
I think
for me.
He's fine, and I think if Lou is out, we can kind of treat the Lakers as we kind of did tonight.
D'Angelo maybe after that. But Austin Rivers plays good defense. I mean, he's terrible, but he does play defense.
He's their best defensive player, according to his dad, his father.
No bias there.
No, none at all. So, yeah, if Lou's out, I mean, yeah, you're looking at like Clarkson here, and that's obviously against Chris Paul, so you don't want that, much of that. So it's pretty brutal for the Lakers. And then their front court's not really missing anyone. Bass is playing, Randall's playing, and so it's pretty brutal there on the Lakers side. What about the Clips side?
Oh, dude.
You trust anyone in cash, though? Again,
no. Maybe not in cash. I don't mind Jordan if you want to go him. JJ Redick has been playing incredible. He's good.
Yeah, Redick. I mean, this is the Lakers defense. So, like, I think it's fine going some Redick exposure. I like Jamal. Jamal's the guy I like.
Yeah, I like Jamal better. I mean, Redick hasn't been good for fantasy recently. He had a nice couple stretch, but he's been shooting well. He's just a good shooter.
Right.
Obviously not a great spot or not a ideal spot because the potential blowout here. But if they play close, he could have a nice game. But yeah, I like Jamal off the bench a lot too. And I mean,
it's kind of for me. It's Chris Paul. DeAndre is kind of more of a cash play for me. I'm not saying I'll go him, but just kind of with the blowout potential and his limited upside in general. But he has good consistency, so I think he just fits the mold of a cash game player a bit more.
Wesley Johnson too is a sneaky play.
He's sneaky, but he's Wesley Johnson.
He's Wesley Johnson, but he had 6 steals last game. So, revenge for the Lakers.
I know. Yeah, the revenge is out tonight. Wow. There are a lot of guys.
A lot of revenge spots.
A lot of guys that are pissed off.
Yeah. Which is good. Friday night. We need some extra motivation. They might have ulterior motives.
Yeah.
They might be looking ahead to the night instead of the game. The little revenge is never bad for your guys.
No, it's never hurt anybody.
No, I like it.
Put all the weight into it. It's just a bonus for your mental state before lineups lock.
Absolutely.
Reassuring.
An extra half an hour, you get Chick-fil-A tomorrow.
Oh, man.
You have a bold call for tomorrow?
I mean, I think it's oh man. Who did I say was my favorite? But Batum's not that bold, but I think Batum's my favorite tournament play.
All right. I'm going to say Lillard is the top scoring point guard, even ahead of Westbrook. Just going out there that Lillard drops a monster game tomorrow.
Wow. All right. I like it. Yeah, no. So, we're going to be watching that game closely because both our bold calls are in that game.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm going to say Batum for his price, for his ownership. Like ownership to points scored will be the best tournament value, all things considered. So, yeah. And at that position, too, kind of a contrarian play there. So
I like it, Jay Sean.
Yeah, definitely good. So But I think it's a tough slate. Like if Melo and Calderon are in, and Porzingis, it's
no value, dude. Haas, man. Haas.
Haas is like, yeah, you're jumping at Haas. It's tough with cheap guys, and obviously this is a slate where you don't want to fade these expensive guys. This is a slate where you want to squeeze in.
Oklahoma City, Houston game. You got to.
Yeah, I mean, you're crazy if you fade hard in cash on this slate.
Right, I'm with you, Jay.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, wraps up that 9-game slate. This was an awesome week. Like I talked about earlier, this is like the best week of the season in terms of just playing. Like
schedule's really gotten nice, and it's just in time with NFL being over. Basically, I mean, you can still play the Pro Bowl, Super Bowl slate.
I was just gonna bring that up. I
might play that. I don't know.
Man, that is a true degen. I was gonna say, don't blow your roll, everyone, on that Pro Bowl slate.
Dude, there has to be an edge in the Pro Bowl. I haven't figured it out at all, but there has to be some edge.
There's an edge in everything.
It has to be some. So it has to be something. I don't know if anyone gets a little more playing time in that, but gotta at least look into it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, fire away. I haven't really looked at the tournaments for that, but I'm sure there's some.
They're selling out on DraftKings.
Oh, absolutely! It's like the prime degen spots. The last NFL.
Every player you've ever heard of.
Yeah, I mean, this is it, and then thankfully it's full NBA for quite some time as the main sport. Obviously, there's still college basketball and hockey, but those are weak, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty pumped for this though.
Oh yeah, it's a cool slate, and then yeah, NBA tomorrow. Good luck, everyone. This weekend, like I said, don't put too much of your bankroll on that Pro Bowl slate. I know it's tempting. We got
good advice, Jay.
The biggest degen in our company, Brian, will definitely be playing it from Jamaica, probably. That's why he's flying back. I bet he couldn't miss that slate.
That's right.
He's been raving all season about how much he loves playing NFL. That he left Jamaica early to come back for this Pro Bowl slate.
Pro Bowl slate. Oh my God.
Speaking of Brian, he should be back for a pod for you guys on Sunday night. With Justin breaking down the Monday slate. And until then, good luck in NBA. Good luck on this slate tomorrow. And make sure to load up on Chick-fil-A in that extra 30 minutes. I definitely recommend the spicy chicken deluxe sandwich. Obviously large value size with that. What are your thoughts on that, Pete?
Strong order. I go for the chicken strips or the nuggets a decent percentage of the time as well.
Yeah, I mean, the
variety of sauces.
The contrarian play is definitely the strips.
I don't know, man. The strips are good.
No, I know, but it's so contrarian. That's like the ultimate.
The nuggets are definitely the chalk, dude.
Oh, nuggets are chalk for sure.
Yeah, the 12-piece nuggets it's just so
yeah, 12-piece nuggets, lemonade, like that's just
you're calling my order for like 60% of the time right there, 70%.
Cash play for sure.
Yeah.
But, all right, everyone. Yeah, good luck on this slate. We'll get with you guys again on Sunday.